Hello, everyone. I hope you guys are having an amazing day. So, today is day 22 of our Alchemical Transformation Challenge. And today we have a very important topic that we're going to cover. We're going to talk about alchemizing timelines and primarily shifting the essence of our programming and trauma response that we accumulate over connecting to past timelines. So this is super, super important. In this class today, we're going to work on all of the past aspects of ourselves that we have been holding on to, past trauma, past experiences, all of these experiences in past previous timelines that we keep referring back to are essentially creating a time loop of repetitive behavior. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at that. Hey guys, so great to see you. Welcome everybody to the chat. You can go ahead and put your questions in the chat. I'm going to go ahead and open questions that we had from last class. Hold on. Let me go over here. Hello, Eugene. Welcome, Marilena, Justin, IT guy, Darina. Happy New Year's already, and New Zealand. Happy New Year's. All my love, Katie Tian. So great to see you. Rebecca Lee Gartman, so great to see you. Greg Herrera, it's such an awesome connection with all of you, and I am so grateful to be here with you again. So let's talk a little bit about the past. What happens in past timelines? Happy New Year. Happy New Year, everybody. We are so excited. 2023 is going to be amazing, by the way. I mean, it's going to be so many major changes for this coming year. But what I want to discuss with you today is really going to help us move forward. And the work that we do here today in this meditation, which is it's one of the most important classes of this entire challenge, because part of the alchemization, the ability to alchemize life force, the lowest to the highest point, is the ability to refine our life force. And how do we refine that life force? Is essentially focusing on the intention and the subconscious programs that feed into our responses and the way that we interact in the world. So the way that we want to address this is by taking a look at how we are reversing our creative life force into counter creation. Okay. So this is important because anytime that we are connected to past thought forms, programs, or even future programs where our mind is set in potential possibilities or things that we could do in the past or could have done in the past, they are draining life force in such a way that this entire microcosm that we call this multidimensional vessel becomes leaked of its essential primordial life force. Two reasons. Source cannot find a place to connect to. Why? Because source is infinite potential. It is this primordial life force that has no timeline. It is all existing potential timelines. So when the human physical vessel that it's connecting to is a really dense vibrational frequency, and it becomes a vibrational frequency when the focus of this vessel, the physical body, is in a past timeline or in a future timeline, it doesn't hold a vibrational frequency that can become resonant housing for this life force to begin to enter into the cells. So our bodies, depending on the emotions that we're feeling, will either make us a conduit of life force in where we are able to create an environment to host higher bands of consciousness, or we are literally disconnecting. And the physical body that doesn't hold present moment consciousness is the vibrational frequency that is either is in the lowest range of frequencies or in a frequency that's very light, that doesn't even exist. It's an imaginary timeline. Anytime our attention is in the future, we are focusing on imagination. We are constantly imagining things. But the most terrible thing about that is that our subconscious mind and the way that our chemicals and our physiology responds to our brain responses and reactions is that it doesn't know if you are imagining something or if you are actually living and experiencing something. So what happens is that the body automatically responds to whatever it is you're imagining. And the majority of humankind spends a lot of time imagining terrible things, horrible potential accidents. We are running through our mind all of these potential horrible events. And because the human vessel is in a state of survival, anytime the human vessel is in survival, it is never in the present moment. It is always in the past or in the future. So what happens is that we begin to completely deplete our life force in imaginary visualizations. This kind of imaginary visualization is a counter creation. It goes against nature and it goes against what is real and what is accessible to the human body, not only biologically through the morphogenetic field, but we are literally tuning in to something that isn't even grounded in any point of reference in our current timeline. The amount of vibrational frequency that it takes in order to create that potential timeline is a lot. And our life force becomes allocated into this future imaginary point that is basically like throwing all of this energy out of something that requires energy. So little by little, the physical vessel becomes emptier and emptier and emptier, and the vibrational frequency that it's holding becomes slower and slower and slower, more sluggish, because it is constantly reinforcing fear state survival-based programs. Now, some people ask me, well, what if my imaginations are fantasies and imagining winning the lottery or some positive event? So the way that law of manifestation functions is not by that superficial imagination. The law of attraction functions as a result of the subconscious mind, because the subconscious mind is a powerful frequency generator that inputs any kind of thought form into the present manifestation, into the physical. It has the ability to completely crystallize things. So these kinds of imaginations that are not rooted in any form connected to the reality of the morphogenetic natural structure of creation are in fact a counter creation. And we deplete life force because the subconscious mind is connected to an external source of creating chemicals, feel-good chemicals in the body that do not sustain and they do not allow a healthy integration of a mind-body connection. So in order for the human body to actually manifest into the physical, they have to be absolutely in the present moment, every moment of their day. So what happens when we're in the past? Past memories, relationships, situations, problems, dramas, traumas that we've had in childhood. If we continue to reinforce the memory of these traumas by feeling those emotions and applying the learned responses through our everyday interactions. So these are two ways of reinforcing those past informations, and they are incredibly limiting for the human body. It causes a depletion of life force in where we are literally existing in a network of consciousness and frequency, energy, life force points. And our energy drains back into these points over and over and over again. So it is super, super important to understand the amount of depletion of life force that occurs anytime we're not in the present moment. And in order to even begin to refine your own life force, in order to introduce these kinds of alchemical transmutation practices, It is essential to refine your subconscious mind programs, which will then refine the life force that you are bringing up into your space. A lot of these programs in the past and in the future are housed in the root and sacral chakra and the emotional chakra. So the root, the sacral, and the solar. And so what happens when we are completely connecting with these base core root primal life force programs and the limiting beliefs that we are reinforcing there is that we are blocking the vibrational frequency, the integration of the higher self and the physical self in order to begin to open the runways of life force and connection. So let's go ahead and take a look at really briefly, what does that look like when we're looking at our multidimensional body and when we're trying to learn how to heal and how to alchemize life force in the body. Essentially, the vibrational frequency that you hold within the body is essentially the one that allows and creates a home for source to embody and anchor into the physical body. So if the wavelengths that you're holding in your body are this slow, really wide and slow, how is it possible that this high vibration, okay, look at this, look how fast and short this wave is moving over here. Okay, these are cosmic rays, but source includes the entire range, the entire spectrum. Source includes the entire spectrum of these frequency waves. So what happens is that if the vessel that this source is coming into is incredibly dense with low vibrational frequencies, then it doesn't have somewhere to come into. There are blocks in the body that don't allow it to anchor and to integrate into the physical vessel. So what happens is that the physical body cannot integrate the higher self with the physical. So those of you that have a hard time tuning into activated intuition abilities, those of you that have a hard time healing your bodies that are sick for a long time, those of you that have broken relationships and issues in connecting and manifesting your dream job, your career, money, all of these wonderful things that you need in order to create balance and harmony in life. This is why, because the physical body is not in alignment with manifestation. And in order to create manifestation in this physical world, we must be in alignment with the source of infinite potential, because it's within the infinite potential that we begin to access higher states of creation. Higher states of creation allow the human to begin to access subconscious programming that allows them to connect to the network of their ancestors and everything that they have become in order to access and release karmic contracts that are repetitive within their genetic timelines. If humans are continuing to repeat the karmic repetitive patterns, they cannot break the patterns of the system. They cannot heal themselves or the earth through the network in which they are connected through, the morphogenetic field. And this morphogenetic field is something that allows you to begin to connect into the higher dimensions of your existence, up into the 13th dimensional plane. It allows you to navigate into fractals of yourself, which you can allow and begin to integrate as you expand your life force into higher bands of frequency. And we expand our life force into higher bands of frequency by tuning in and activating our DNA. DNA is deactivated by limiting belief systems, by low vibrational frequency that doesn't allow the implosion of this life force in order to create higher spin rates in which the entire organism is in alignment with nature, in alignment with the vibrational frequency of the planet, the solar system, the galaxy, and the universe. Because it's within the body, as above, so below, that we become one with the whole. So whenever there's a disconnect in the integration of frequencies inside of a physical vessel, there's absolutely no way that they can begin to integrate healing and begin to affect matter. because matter in the third dimensional plane is essentially from the first three chakras, is ruled by these first three chakras. So any programming that we have within the root, sacral, and solar that begin to manifest into the physical by subconscious programs hinder the ability to access these potential life force creations. Now, what ends up happening in the physical body when you are in the past or in the future is that your life force becomes blocked in the nervous system. The nervous system is locked into certain patterns of response patterns that are designed to allow the human to survive. So when the human is in a state of survival, they are utilizing very specific aspects of their brain that are continuously keeping them in a fight or flight mode. And this fight or flight mode essentially removes you from the ability to connect and to self-regulate the nervous system. It maintains you in patterns in which, even in dream state, when you go into sleep, you cannot access deep states of actual restful sleep. In fact, we're not even accessing REM sleep, which is where our pupils are oscillating the fastest and where we are able to enter into dream state. And it is in these states that we begin to allow ourselves to navigate higher states of frequency. So this is the thing that we need to really understand in our physical body. We are incapable of bringing pure life force through the transmutation process of the body, this incredible spinal cord that functions like a transmutation instrument. If the information that we're pulling up, if the life force that you're pulling up into the body is heavy and dense vibrational frequency, it's also not a match to the higher levels of your body. Because remember that vibrational frequency also is self-organized in the body by frequency. And the chakras, which are housing specific frequency color ranges and patterns, are the ones that allow specific data to be processed through the different levels of the body. So if in any part of the body you have a blockage in that vibrational frequency, let's say the solar plexus or the heart, this element of consciousness is not allowing the integration from the higher to the lower. And in the network of your life force, wherever you have the blockage, remember that the blockage is not only in the physical. It is also connecting to a field in your morphogenetic field. It is within the layers of your multidimensional body. We have 13 layers around the body, and those 13 layers connect directly to each one of these organs, which are the endocrine system that translate and are allowing the body to begin to transmute these informations. Okay, so this is what happens, is that the entire vessel blocks higher ranges of frequency into the body. There is no connection. And the point of trauma, let's say this person has a blockage in their solar plexus, the point of trauma is crystallized in the physical body as a pain, or let's say stagnation or stiffness or soreness in the body. But in reality, the major program is like a pool. It's like an accumulation of thought forms that are blocking within many of the layers of your multidimensional body. So that's why when we're healing, when we're doing integrative work, we have to understand the root in order to shift the home that we have built for this attachment in the body. And attachments are nothing more than stagnant thought forms that block life force in the field. When we do our meditations every night, we clear 13 dimensional layers, so that when we clear those layers, we are clearing these layers, the receptive antennas or routers that allow us to pick up information. So when you clear it of low frequency information, you're making space and you're shifting your entire organism to a higher octave of frequency. And that allows you to begin to pull in higher states of information in the body. So, this whole process of clearing and neutralizing energy is is the difference between being stuck in a net, almost as if you're in a spider web of your own creation, of your own limiting belief systems that only allow you to see a very limited aspect of reality. So this becomes a filter of reality that blocks your ability to see truth or even nature or even the potential of manifestation that is available to you. You can only move within a very limited range. Okay. So the shifting of these thought forms from the past is essential to even beginning transmutation techniques in the body. This is the core of the actual work in order to be able to embody higher frequency. Because if you're transmuting heavy sorrow, pain, resentment, fear-based programs, that's not going to work. It's not going to work up. It's not going to be able to move through the body. It'll be really hard. It'll be very dense for you. And it'll be very difficult for you to transmute this life force. Okay. So this is how we begin to understand ourselves and the work that we're capable of doing. When we heal and release our attachment to the past or the future, we also now have tuned in to the ability to change the collective. Remember that you are spheres within spheres. You are fractals of infinite consciousness. You are the universe. You are a fractal of that universe. And that's not just an abstract concept. It is encoded within every cell of your body that when you shift your frequency, you literally create a chain reaction of shift in the collective. And you might not think that you're actually creating that chain reaction, but you are. Of course, in the physical realm, there is a lag time in how these things function because we are exercising, becoming that transducer of life force, that conduit of life force. Okay, so without the practice of continued release of the past, you become stagnation. And in order to transduce life force, remember that this is an entire network of system. I mean, you are a toroidal field. You literally function like this. And when you begin to go to the past, there is no way to be able to access that information. Okay. So some of you ask me, well, how do you deal with past lives? So essentially, any time that a past memory or a past life begins to enter into our, you know, into our realm of awareness, it is because there is a similar program that's being triggered in the present moment. So what does that mean? Past lives are not accessible to you until you trigger the similar program that you've lived in this lifetime. Okay. So if you're aware of the limiting beliefs and the trauma that you're cycling through in this lifetime, and you understand your role in that trauma, now when you begin to access a past life, you will also be able to integrate and dissolve those programs as well. So we work in timelines all the time. You don't realize that you are affecting because why? Because these timelines are not in the past, they're not in the future. They're actually in the now. You can't access past lives by going to the past. You don't. You actually access them by coming fully in the present moment, because whatever your vibrational frequency is in this present moment will open you, because this is how we travel intergalactically, interdimensionally. We only travel through the neutral 0 point. That's the only way you travel. And the reason why it's easy for you to travel in dream time, because you don't have the density influence of the physical body. You are leaving the physical body, which allows you to access a higher octave of frequency, which is allowing you to spin at a faster rate and obviously leave the body. So when you're leaving the body and spinning at this higher density, you literally have the ability. That's why dream time is so incredibly important. That's why all the ancient Egyptians, ancient Asian cultures, Hindus, everything from Hinduism to Buddhism, um, the Sufis would spin to, create this toroidal field. I mean, we can go on and on about the hundreds of different cultures around the world, from American Indians, South Americans, Incas, Aztecs. Every single one of these ancient cultures, Druids, in the UK, in Europe, all of these ancient cultures, ancient pyramids, ancient structures that were created around the stars, particularly in alignment with Orion, are all in alignment with the transmutation vessel that is available through the Earth, because the planet Earth is a transmutation vessel, and it is a vortex, it is a portal. As in all planets are portals, you are a portal, your DNA is a portal, and the way that your body functions is a portal. So you create portal in your body when you are in dream state and you know how to lucid dream. You change your vibrational frequency so that you can travel in higher dimensional planes. And essentially, you begin to leave the physical body through your portal. Of course, the Merkaba, as you spin your Merkaba, you begin to leave the portal out into these higher dimensional planes. Okay, so the toroidal movement of our life force, the way that the life force moves through the physical body to create runways of life force, is essentially what creates this Merkaba shape, which is one of many. Don't get stuck on the Merkaba. There's many shapes that we need to become and we can access. And we access them based on the highest dimensional level that we are able to access. Every new octave of frequency that you're able to access, you change in your output of what you are going to look like, how frequency forms, bends, and manifests. Okay, so in how we are accessing these higher dimensional levels of ourselves in dream time, allow us to access through the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th dimensional layer is the Akashic membrane. Remember, we talked about that. The Akashic membrane through the 9th chakra is the DNA that connects all organisms on this earth and that hold the historical record of every living organism, in addition to their fractals of themselves and how they have fractalized in the earth. So me, you, brothers and sisters, cousins, ancient ancestral bloodlines are all within the inner sphere of this being here that you see at the center of this image. Within that inner sphere is everything up until the 9th dimensional layer. And in the inner sphere is all of their past lives. You can see within here all these inner sphere bubbles. There's a little baby, there's a past life here as a priest, a past life here as a monk. All of these are within the 9th dimensional chakra and below. However, the matrix is still up until the 13th dimensional level. Okay. Why do we say that? Because the matrix is about dualistic exchange experience. And all the beings that we are interacting with that are still within the exchange dynamics, whether they're grays, whether it's the hybridization program, whether it's reptilians, whether it's Arcturians, Pleiadians, whatever manifestation, even angelic beings are still within exchange dynamics, which means that they are still abiding by the laws of duality. And that means that within that dualistic expression, the matrix is created and founded on those laws of duality, which is why our life experiences here are about unification. That's what the transmutation process is about. It's about going from these lower states into unity, into one. we incarnate in through all of these dimensional planes. We become fractalized. Within every single plane, we have parts of us like this. So let's say here's the 9th, here's the 10th dimensional layer, here's the 11th dimensional layer. Within all of these dimensional layers, we have fractals of ourselves. Let me see if I can show you that. Let's make it visual. So if you were to imagine here that within this body, this is the body, here are the layers of their dimensions. Okay, within every single one of these dimensional planes, these dimensional levels, the chakras, we are fractalized in this manner. So every single dot that you see that exists within this dimension is an aspect of ourselves. So when we have ET contact, we are accessing over here, let's say 10th dimensional gray, and we interact. This 10th dimensional gray is an expression, it's a holographic expression of our DNA, our base blueprint, because we are encoded with this being within us. Okay, every single one of these archetypes are an expression of our own self that we are interacting with. And how we connect, basically how we become one, is by becoming aware of all of these fractals of ourselves through meditation. It is only through meditation that you can access these aspects of yourself. And it is only through the physical vessel and the cultivation and the transmutation of low thought forms, trauma, into high vibrational frequency through shadow work, that you can align your vessel in order to make space for activation of these higher dimensional planes, higher dimensional aspects of yourself. And that means that this is what activated DNA looks like right here. This is what it looks like. When you activate DNA, you are activating all these dormant aspects of yourself that you cannot reach consciously. So those of you that tell me that you have a difficult time connecting to the higher self, connecting to your guides, well, that's all here. These are your guides. Why are they your guides? Why are all these beings and archetypal fractalized aspects of yourself guides? Because we use the term future as a way to understand how to measure time. And I guess in our linear earth mind, the idea of future helps us understand that we are in a more evolved state than we were at some point. And that is true through the laws of physics, just in general, by the laws of physics in which we exist, because this entire multiverse is moving in another spiral. Remember, the design of the universe, the chosen design of the universe, the chosen trajectory of life force is a deep coiling that allows massive amounts of information to condense into small, tiny fractals. So this spiral motion that is within the entire universe, which is the universe moving right now, is also within the DNA of our bodies, and it's also the way information comes into our body. It's all done through spiral motions of vibrational frequency. Let me find my slide. Let me find my slide that I want to find. Okay. Okay. Right. So the entire universe is moving in a toroidal field, in a spiral manner, I should say. Okay. So is matter, the oscillation of cells down to the molecular level are also vibrating to create oscillations into toroidal fields of expression of information. And within that, we are an electromagnetic system. Everything is communicating with each other in this electromagnetic system. Okay, so this is how we begin to utilize the physical vessel in order to activate DNA, in order to access the fractals of ourselves that are in dormant state. So this is why becoming lucid in the waking state is a process that must be done, because we then pull that into the dream state. What's the dream state? This is the dream state right here. This is dream state. Dream state are all the travelings that we do when we are at the brainwave patterns that allow us to come into the vibrational frequency of a higher dimensional octave. So the brainwave patterns that we tune into allow us to navigate higher dimensional frequencies. Not just these are just what we know. There are, you need to look in terms of this universe. And this is why we can't just look at a planet and find life on a planet, because they are vibrating at a different vibrational frequency, which is out of our visual range. It doesn't matter what technology you have. Our technology is limited to only being able to process certain vibrational frequency patterns. So it would have to be something that transcends that. And the answer is the physical body, the physical vessel. We can activate, and that's why it's so important to activate the higher chakras all the time. You activate the higher chakras on a daily basis, and you begin to create a foundation in your body through shadow work. What is shadow work? Transmuting trauma into an expansive, non-judgmental, non-dualistic perception. That's what the shadow work is about. That's the transmutation, the inner alchemy. The inner alchemy is transmuting all of the lower vibrational programs, deprogramming, matrix programming, which is all of the conditioning that we take on through media, low vibration foods, traumas, fear, survival state, anything that we do as a result of being in survival. And I really want you to really get into a clear understanding about what it means to be in survival. I'm going to do an entire video on this. I mean, we could talk for hours about that, but we are conditioned in our societies, which are socially engineered and structured to maintain humans in a constant state of survival. So when that occurs, the human cannot connect with the inner work. They cannot even access the parts of them that are functioning in survival primal state. There's a disconnect. They don't even have the ability to sit down in meditation for 10 minutes to silence the mind in order to be able to access a peace. We don't even know peace, right? So it's actually the inner alchemy that allows the human to begin to access into a higher state of frequency and manifestation. The human begins to activate intuition. It's the first step into speaking the language of frequency of the universe. And intuition is a multi-sensory instrument. It's not just that you're going to get wow, Nostradamus images of the future. No, we all have different ways of accessing information. You need to find your way and start from there. Because as you start from there, whether it is that you can hear clearly, see clearly, sense clearly, feel clearly, taste clearly, whatever senses are active in you, it is a product of your ancestral survival pattern. Because everything that you are and that you've activated in your DNA to become the creator that you are at this current state is a result of cyclical ancestral trauma and programming. And it's a combination of higher octave DNA that you have activated within yourself over many of the collective simultaneous lifetimes that you are existing within. So the more conscious that you become and the more you are able to access dream travel, you are able to access past lives, future lives. This is why hypnosis takes you into a deep brainwave state so that you can begin to access higher bands of frequency data, which allow you to enter into minimally ninth dimensional plane, which is the morphogenetic field, which is the field in which it's the DNA of the earth and all collected organisms that are interconnected in the system. So we tune in to these laws of the universe in order to understand how to access higher states of embodiment. Okay. So when we talk about essentially, what is this, what is the higher self, or where do we place the higher self? The higher self is not one aspect of ourselves. The higher self is created and cultivated by the activation of all yourselves. That's the higher self. The higher self is simply the perspective of the higher octave. But you have a lot. You have a lot. This is just one braided system here. How can I show you what this looks like? Essentially, you are a DNA strand in which you exist within a certain octave of frequency, but you also have higher octaves of yourself infinitely. Each one of these fractals of yourself is you yourself in a higher octave. And we go up just like the Fibonacci sequence. The way that the Fibonacci sequence is expressed is also the way that we are processing data in higher frequency states. Let me see. Okay, here we go. Okay, so right now we are here in the 13th dimensional octave of frequency. That means that we have access to our 13 dimensional planes for the majority of the humans here. All humans have access to 13 dimensional planes. All humans have access to all dimensional planes, but in this dualistic three-dimensional experience that we're co-creating on this earth together, me and you here in this now moment, we are learning how to activate this level. We are now moving into this 21 range of DNA in the larger macrocosm. But this 21 DNA allows humans to begin to access 21 chakra system. We can access infinite. I as I mentioned before, I was able to access into 55. So can you. Some of you are already accessing up to these higher dimensional levels. Okay, but this next level that we're moving in through right now, we're going through the photon belt, right? We know that we're moving through the photon belt, but what does that really mean? What that means is that the entire universe is spiraling into it spirals in an infinity cycle. You see how this creates infinity patterns when you look at it from this way. And this, every point that we come into the transition from the 13 to the 21, we are all, every organism on this planet is vibrating at a higher octave. We're shifting. That's why we had major changes in the earth in order to support this change. And the worst thing about it, or the best thing about it, is that every physical vessel that is participating in this shift at this time has to maintain a certain vibrational frequency in order to be able to exist within this shift. Because if your physical body isn't moving higher bands, it's not conducive of higher bands of life force, you won't be able to transition in a way that is smooth and intentional. There will be heightened illnesses. Lots of people got sick. Lots of people transitioned because their vibrational frequency wasn't in a conducive manner in order to match these next octaves that we are quickly moving through. And this is the same for every civilization through history. They move into higher bands, into the highest point of civilization, cultivation. They move into the highest level of technology. And how do you know that a civilization is reaching its peak? Because it begins to access into higher levels of intelligence of technology, where technology begins to potentially reach a point of singularity where it becomes conscious. We're already getting there. We have already programmed artificial intelligence to a certain level. And we are already getting to that point where we are trying to enter into programs of transhumanism, which is always the next step in these cycles. Why? Because the parasitic aspect of the dualistic expression is expressing its highest organic potential in an artificial manner. So the artificial is always going to move in parallel to the organic. The science always is, a technology, I should say, is trying to mimic nature. But nature can never be mimicked because it is infinitely creative, which means that it's always changing and shifting in order to evolve into higher octaves of existence that allow more complex systems, natural systems of creation. So you are a natural system of creation that is beginning to shift into a higher octave function, which means that there are new things that are available to you, new technologies, organic technologies that are available to you. And how you access those is by becoming this transducer of life force in order to begin to move higher bands of frequency and becoming a conduit of life force in the physical body. So we essentially are becoming the universe in communication in and with the universe at all times. And that depends solely on the work that you're doing with your DNA, input and output. Okay. So this is really important at this time. But again, if your mind, and just to reiterate about past and present moment, we are not able to access past lives if we are not fully in the present moment. So that's how that works, and that's why hypnosis is very powerful for that work. Okay, that's why hypnosis is very powerful that way that work, and that's why meditation is essential to reaching these states of consciousness in order to access that. Okay. All right, my love. So I'm going to stop the presentation right here. I'm going to go into the chat for some questions, and we're going to start our meditation. Wow, lots of comments in the chat tonight. I'm so happy to be here with you, and I'm so glad I caught you. Rebecca, welcome. Q, what herb can I drink or supplement with throughout the day to negate anger, aggression, until I incorporate more balance and meditation? Resisting meditation lately. Perfect topic tonight. Yeah, so most of the reason why people resist meditation is because we are fearful of what we're going to find in a meditative state. Okay. And it's learning how to navigate the unknown. That is really what we're doing. And when we learn how to navigate the unknown, meditation becomes one of the most powerful tools that we can have. Okay. So this is super, super important. But what can you drink? So essentially, some tools that you can utilize, all that you're doing is you are learning how to come out of survival. Why are we angry? Why do we have aggression? Because we feel that we're not safe. That's what it comes down to. And we feel that we are in constant survival mode. And constant survival mode makes people angry because they know that innately there's a peace that they're incapable of reaching. So we essentially, two things, we need to start bringing things into our life that induce feelings of love and joy. Okay. So if that's a pet, start with a pet. If it's a cat, hug the cat, align with the cat. Animals are always in the present moment and they are always in the state of unconditional love. So align with the animal, align with a plant. If you don't have a pet, nature, go into nature. As soon as you come into nature, your entire body mechanically comes into alpha state, comes into a state of neutrality. And if you stay there long enough in nature, you begin to align into a state of peace and harmony naturally, because your rhythms will go in alignment with nature. Even insomnia, headaches, pains in the bodies begin to decrease, scientifically proven, medically proven. Okay, so we need to learn how to utilize these tools and bring them into the practical use in everyday life. So connect with moving out of a state of feeling unsafe. What makes you feel safe? Okay, communication, expression, connection, affection, validation. Okay, so as soon as you start to feel unsafe, as soon as anger starts to come in, like, why would you do that? You begin to connect with your body. I want you to put your hand in your chest and in your solar plexus and begin to connect with what's happening, the emotions that are occurring in the body in that exact moment. And I want you to walk yourself through and just identify what you need in that moment to feel safe. That's the question. What do I need to feel safe right now? Okay, I need to feel supported. I need to feel a hug. Okay, you're going to embrace yourself and you're going to provide that love, that affection for yourself. Okay? I need to know that I can trust someone, something right now. Okay? You're going to connect with yourself and you're going to trust yourself. So essentially, what we need to do is redirect. The reason why we feel unsafe is because we've abandoned ourselves and we've put our expectation for safety on something external. And that's never a good idea. Never a good idea, because the external is infinite potential. We live in infinite potential. So any human that has free will, anybody that chooses something different in a snap of a finger, and we are dependent on a specific outcome, it's going to disrupt our entire system, biochemically, electrically, emotionally, because we are imbalanced in that way. We have become codependent. And so how do we shift this ability to navigate and redirect the attention to the internal is by making yourself the sole provider of all your needs. This has to, and it doesn't mean we're not going to be interdependent at some point. We are inherently one organism. I showed you the points. We are never separate. We are never disconnected from anyone or anything. But the way that we're functioning with our life force is being depleted because it's being allocated in something that doesn't sustain and reciprocate. So we have to become a generator. That's what we are, a conduit, an alchemist of life force in that moment. So in terms of drinking herbs, calming teas are amazing. They can, provide you a sense of peace. But I mean, I can name out many: lemon balm, ashwagandha, chamomile, very calming and balancing herbs that allow you to come into a state of calm. However, nothing is more powerful and long sustaining than the internal shadow work that needs to occur, which is essentially becoming your own provider of safety. Okay, so, and that will long term shift aggression and anger. Okay, the second part of this is that you do the shadow work with your anger. Why are you angry? Who are you angry at? Okay, what you'll discover is that first you're going to make a list of all the people that have made you angry in your life. And you're going to discover the patterns that we have went into in order to create these patterns of suffering. But who is at the end of that is usually ourselves. We are very angry at ourselves. Why? Because innately we have ignored the natural laws of this universe, which means that we ourselves are the providers of everything that we require. That's not just the concept that we're programming ourselves. That's the way nature functions. A leaf doesn't question its existence. It doesn't question what it needs. It doesn't depend on the weather to be nice and warm in order for it to sustain its life. No, it surrenders and it exists in its whole expression. And it works in connection with all nature, with all cycles, rain, snow, sunshine, fall, winter, summer. And it allows death to come when it needs to die, and it allows life to come when it needs to live. This is the state of neutrality. That's the 0 point. Okay, so nature teaches us that, and we are of nature. Nature is within us and without us. Being a microcosm of this universe, we function in that fractal mechanism. So our bodies are also self-regenerating, self-living, ending. We are constantly needing to learn how to live in those cycles of life and death. So this is how we need to learn how to do that. So I hope that answers that question, my love. Let me know if you have any more questions. Thank you so much, guys. Tesseract, so great to see you. Kevin, Cosmic Beat, Carolina, so great to see you. Justin, how can I really stop the negative thoughts, intrusive imaginations? I catch them quick, but I really need them to stop popping in. Right. So the reason why we are having these, ideas and intrusive imaginations, negative thoughts, is because, again, just like Rebecca, we are in a state of survival. So the survival state tricks us into thinking that if we are constantly imagining worst case scenarios, that they're going to prepare us for those worst case scenarios of survival. But that's actually the opposite, because we are reinforcing suffering and counter creative events of survival instead of learning how to do the opposite, because that's not the way the laws of manifestation function. The laws of manifestation function in that you co-create everything that you become. You attract what you become. So if you're in a constant state of survival, fear, and imagining the worst or imaginations of negativity, that's what you're going to attract into your vibrational frequency, into your events in your life. But if you are in a state of constructive imagination, constructive co-creative thoughts, this is what you're going to manifest in your life, because the language of the universe is vibrational frequency. Your entire body, your field is oscillating at a specific frequency. Remember, when we looked at the bodies, either you're all red in survival mode, root chakra wide open, heart chakra closed, throat chakra closed, third eye stagnant, crown not even active. How are you manifesting? The only thing that's creating is the root chakra or the solar plexus that is in a constant state of anger, for example. So this is how we need to really mature to a level that we understand what creates is the vibrational frequency. Vibrational frequency is vibrational resonance. Vibrational resonance is a result of the subconscious mind. And all these imaginations and thought forms are the subconscious mind. They're not even happening in this present moment. So that is how you begin to really shift into a way of accountability and wake up. Because anytime that you're imagining, you're in dormant state. You're highly suggestible. So if you have some music playing in the background and your mind is imagining things, whatever that music wants you to buy or wants you to do or wants you to feel, that's what it's going to input in, and it's going to magnify your imaginations. Think about that. So we are learning systems, constant learning systems. We have to be very careful what we surround ourselves with and what we input into this delicate instrument of creation. Okay, so that's really important. Can you explain vibration to people or new viewers that may not know? Oh, did I literally just kind of do that? I hope I did. But essentially, our vibrational frequency is everything that we are. Let me just take a look really quickly in a way that I can show this to you by showing you once again the ranges of frequency. Okay, so we are talking about wave patterns that carry information. Okay, so all of these wave patterns are carrying specific information, and that information is organized by the vibrational frequency. Super high vibrational frequency cannot be carried in a low wave pattern. Okay. Therefore, if your physical body is in a constant state of survival, let's say root chakra is super hyperactive and we're in survival, imagining the worst all the time, being angry and aggressive all the time, this is how our body is going to look. Therefore, this is your major vibrational input. Crown chakra, non-existent. Third eye, dormant. Heart, shrunken, non-existent. Okay, so therefore, this is the way that you are inputting into the system. Okay, so what happens if you activate, let's say, your heart chakra and you start doing some shadow work and start controlling how you're processing and routing root survival programs, sacral, sexual thoughts, solar plexus, feelings of helplessness, worthlessness. So when you start managing those internal programs and redirect them into co-creation, now you're change your frequency. Look, the violet color is brighter here, the blue color, the green color. So now you are moving your vibrational frequency higher. You're beginning to move faster. What does this mean? It means that your toroidal field is moving faster. What does that mean? That means that you become a conduit of life force, cosmic life forces that exist within the vibrational ranges of higher dimensions. So that means you're accessing and making space for your higher self. So that's essentially what that means and how we can practically begin to embody that in the physical body. Okay. So I hope that answers that question. Geraldine, curious what you think about antidepressants. Do you think there is ever a valid place for their use? Yes, I do think that if you are, you know, you need to go to a psychologist or psychiatrist to make sure your doctor is helping you with, because here's what happens. Because of our diets, because of the lifestyles that we live, because of the amount of hormonal imbalances due to endocrine disruptors in our system, which are introduced into the body from everything from perfume to makeup to things that we're hearing and watching, we are disrupting biochemically the physical body. Okay. And what that has done to humanity over time, in addition, on top of it, let's add another layer to the collective trauma that has been imposed into our society through wars, genocides, violence, abuse of any kind. We've completely disrupted the human physical body from its homeostasis. Okay, so what that results in is severe imbalances. So for some people that are diagnosed and need some of these antidepressants in order to get them out of very deep states, fine, but you need to try to get off them by regulating and healing at some point, if that feels right for you. Okay, you need to, there has to be a holistic approach to this work. Okay, so you need to work with your medical team. Hopefully you're working with a doctor that's an integrative doctor that is looking at the entire body, not just one thing, because these antidepressants can take the body into major out of balance, suppression of major intuitive abilities. That's very destructive for the human. You come into dormant, even disconnected from your emotions completely, a lot of these antidepressants. And the people, even though they create a flat line, that doesn't resolve the trauma, and that doesn't resolve what's going to happen if they do get off that, because when they do get off that, it's going to take the body into an imbalance. So we could talk a lot about that, but you need to work with your medical team to see what's in alignment with you. Obviously, I'm not a doctor, so you have to get the proper advice for that. But talking from a spiritual and an energetic perspective, we need to find a way to regulate the body, bring the body and back into harmony, however way we can. And meditation is the number one way to begin to help the nervous system and to begin to help regulate. Breathing exercises, all of these things help bring harmony in the body. So it's really important that we learn how to do those techniques. Okay. And for some people that have like advanced psychiatric issues, yeah, we need that to bring stability. So anyway, I've said, I think I've said what I needed to say about that, but make sure that you check and make sure what's right for you. Okay. Justin Michael says, imagine you're eliminating, deleting those thoughts from your mind, like they were some sort of programs, or maybe you have an implant. Find it and get it out and dissolve it. Yeah, so remember that these thought forms are essentially subconscious programs that need to be reprogrammed. Okay. Let me see any more questions. What does it feel like when blockage is released? Okay, so when we release blockages in the body, and we should be doing this daily, right? So as soon as you start having negative emotions coming up, this is an invitation for you to release a blockage. So sit with that emotion and get to the core. What's in that emotion? Let's say it's anger. Okay, sit with that anger. What's underneath that anger? Feelings of frustration, helplessness, resentment, uh, you know, anger. And which one of those is the strongest? Okay, resentment. Okay, go into that resentment, sit with that resentment, get down to the root. You're going to go to primary, secondary, tertiary emotion in order for you to understand how you reached this state. This is how you know yourself. Okay, so once you get to those emotions, begin to look at the patterns. And you're going to find that you're actually living in this emotion your entire life. It's not just today. It was triggered, but you're living there your entire life. So as you begin to access that pattern, ask yourself, what would be a more constructive way of dealing with the trigger that caused this pattern? What do you need? What is it that your soul requires in order to not respond in that way? And you're going to go into amazing answers. I need to feel safe. I need to feel communicated with. I need to have expression. I need freedom. Okay, what does that mean? What does it take for you to feel free? What does it take for you to feel safe? What do you need? I need love. I need affection. I need peace. Okay, what is that? Do you even know what that means? Get in there. Allow yourself, teach yourself what it means to feel peace, what it means to feel love. What does it mean to have affection? When you know yourself at this level, there is nothing that will trigger you eventually because you understand how to get where you need immediately, and you will be able to take yourself there. So this takes us out from the state of cyclical trauma, reincarnation, and helplessness into a master state of self-mastery, healing, and co-creation. So it's super important to do that. And how it feels essentially is that you come into joy, love, and peace is what that feels like. All of a sudden, all of the contraction that you were holding in your body is like released because you realize that most of the suffering that you're holding in your body is self-induced. Okay, this is the deepest part of this conversation of healing, is that we trap ourselves because we're addicted to feeling. We create our own psychosis where we feel we are victims, we are helpless, and those are programs that are deeply ingrained in us as a result of many things that we talk about here: ancestral lineages, programming, indoctrination, emotional programs from parents, survival. All of those things input belief systems that are inversions of truth. So we are learning how to discern truth through your body, through your everyday experiences. Okay. So let's see if we have any more questions here. Is the ninth chakra the collective chakra? I don't know the term collective chakra, so I'm not sure what that means exactly to you specifically, or maybe that's a school of thought. I always want to be mindful. I know people use some specific terms, but the ninth chakra essentially is the DNA of the Earth. It's where we access the morphogenetic field. It's a membrane of data that allows us to access to all living organisms within the planetary system, specifically the Earth. Okay. All right, guys, let's do our meditation. It's getting really late. And I'm going to come back and answer more questions. Okay. All right. Let's start by inhaling deeply. Bring yourself into a state of complete relaxation as you inhale and exhale. With every breath you take, as you allow yourself to come into a state of complete relaxation, complete calm, you're going to visualize a golden light coming down into the crown of the head, and it's going to enter into the pineal gland, going down through the back of the brain, into the nervous system, into the spine. And it's going to begin to relax all of the nervous system in the spine that connects all of the organs, the parasympathetic nervous system and the primordial nervous system down the spine. So allow yourself to feel that warm golden light coming down into the spine. Breathing. Okay, feel that warm, calming sensation coming into the nervous system, down the spine. Anytime you're in a state of survival, this is a tool that you have available to you. Just visualize that golden light going down the spine, into the nervous system, into the organs of the body, into the muscle tissues, into the bones, down into the solar plexus. Go ahead and release the muscles in the solar plexus, letting go of any tension there. Breathing. With every breath you take, allowing yourself to go into a state of complete relaxation, complete calm. Breathing all the way down to the base of the spine, down into the lower belly, standing up really straight. And as you take your attention down into the pelvic bone, beginning to relax the hips, the joints, the thighs, the knees, the shins, the calves, as you go all the way down into your feet. Connecting into the body, the nervous system of the body, as you go down into the soles of the feet, and you have chakras here at the base of your feet. As you begin to touch the ground underneath you, the floor underneath you, allowing a network of energy into the earth. Go ahead and visualize that all of the stress of the day goes down into the earth, out of your legs. And your brain begins to come into alpha state, which is the state of peace, calm, serenity, receptivity. Come into surrender. With every breath you take, as you allow yourself to come into a state of calm and relaxation, go ahead and focus on the root chakra at the base of the spine. Go ahead and shrink that chakra down to the size of a dime. Go up into the sacral, into the solar. Shrink it down to the size of a dime. Go ahead and activate your heart. Go ahead and expand your heart chakra as wide as possible, opening the center of unconditional love and coherence. Make sure that your abdomen muscles are nice and relaxed, and you are inhaling deeply into the solar plexus. Go ahead and go into your throat chakra, expanding the throat chakra, expanding the third eye. Okay. Go ahead and activate your seventh and eighth chakra, the crown, activating the center of manifestation. Fill it in with your creative color. Send that into the seventh, activating the areas of career, abundance, love, consciousness, intimacy, creative energy, sexual energy, manifestation, money, health. Focus on health, activating all of the health in the body, neutralizing any kind of energies that are out of balance in the body, bringing them into a balanced state. And finally, your purpose. What are you here to do? Bringing you into a state of alignment with your highest expression, whatever that is at this time. Okay. We're going to bring a very powerful healing energy from Earth. Go ahead and visualize bringing up a powerful wave of healing energy, creating a vortex of life force around your body, beginning to activate your vortex. Okay, from source, go ahead and visualize cosmic energy coming down through the crown of your head, combining with this earth energy. As you allow those two energies to combine and rotate all around you. You're going to take 10% of that, anchor back down in the center of the earth, pulling cosmic energy through your body, healing your body and healing earth. Focus on healing earth for a moment. Coming into a state of love, coherence, non-judgmental connection to this whole planet. All the living organisms are nourished with the cosmic energy that you bring in through your body. Go ahead and focus on the solar plexus now, taking back 80% up your spine and from the crown of the head, coating the outside of your field. I want you to call back your life force from people, places, and things that are no longer in alignment with you. Bring it back. Go ahead and focus on the green and gold energy, or this healing energy and cosmic energy. I want you to infuse it into your body, into the pores, into the muscles, the bones, down to the cellular level of the body. Healing your body, restoring the body, all parts of the body that require more healing at this time. See that now. Re-energizing, regenerating, rejuvenating. When you run energy, you no longer feel tired. You no longer feel depleted because you are pulling from the infinite source that is available of life force around you. Okay. So let's begin to observe how many times today have we been in the past? Allow yourself to observe that. How many times just today, in the past 24 hours, has your attention, your life force, your decisions, your choices been rooted in the past? Take a look at that. Take yourself back to the past week now as you begin to observe the past 7 days. How often have you been in the past? How often have you been in the future? As you take yourself back now to the past month, begin to observe how much influence does the past have on your personality? How much influence does the past have in your current relationships? How much time do you spend in the past when you are interacting with people that trigger you? How much of your conversation is rooted in the past? How often do you revisit your life stories of trauma, pain, and suffering? How often do you share those with others? Just notice as you begin to observe yourself the kind of physical reaction that it has on you. What happens to your body when you're telling these stories? What happens to your emotions when you are revisiting the past or focusing on the future? Begin to observe yourself over the past year now. How much have we lived in the past or in the future this past year? As you allow yourself to begin to observe, I want you to look at all of the fractals of yourself that have been trapped in the past or in the future this past year. I want you to begin to collect them as you move through the months, the days, the hours, the minutes in which you divide yourself into a past self, future self, from the present moment self. Just take a look at these parts of you, these fractals of yourself. What is it that they feel? Tune into their emotions. As you begin to observe those emotions, begin to notice any physical responses that begin to appear to you as you watch these fractals of yourself. Notice the suffering, the survival, and notice the lack of acceptance of these parts of you. What is it that they need in order to accept? Whether it's the past, whether it's the future, whether it's the present moment. What's not being accepted? You might begin to see memories of events and scenarios, but I want you to take it down to the root, not the external. What are you not accepting in yourself that allows you to fall into the pattern of non-acceptance with the external? The external is always a reflection of ourselves. So what's the pattern? What do you not accept within yourself about all these experiences from the past or the future that you are not able to accept? As you begin to acknowledge these things, you will begin to feel more expansive, more aware. Non-judgmentally observe these parts of you. Notice their pain, their suffering, their strong emotions. What is it that they need in order to no longer feel this way? What do they need from themselves? What are some of the fears that come up as they review this? Address those too. Very good. So as you see these parts of you, begin to allow yourself to receive everything that you require. But notice the programming. What would be the opposite programming, the opposite response to being in the past, being in the future, or just being afraid of the now? What would it look like to accept the past and accept the future and be in the now? Go ahead and see all of these parts of you, and almost as if you're press play on a movie and they play out, living those moments in which they are now choosing a different reaction, a different response. What is it that they would do? Watch them. What do they need in order to be in the present moment, to feel safe, to feel that they can express? You're going to visualize a color that represents this new awareness, and I want you to fill all of your fractals of yourself as they begin to feel this new way of being. Notice how these vicious cycles of not being in the present moment continue to cause more harm and more harm to yourself and others. As you allow yourself to accept at the deepest level all that you are, your flaws, imperfections, everything that you judge in any way, allowing yourself to accept deeply, deeply and radically. As you allow yourself to integrate and embody this oneness, I want you to see all of the fractals of yourself merging into one self. As you begin to inhale deeply, taking back this new healed fractal of yourself into your body, I want you to see a cord that connects your body to all of your ancestors, in which you have repeated this same program, lifetime, simultaneous lifetime after simultaneous lifetime. See if you can become aware of those cords. Check in your body to connecting to all of the people that trigger this escape, or the memories or the events that trigger you to go into the past or go into the future. See yourself in these cords. You're going to see many of them, hundreds of them. Okay. And at this moment, we're going to neutralize them with non-judgmental, unconditional love. So as you begin to call back your life force into your body, inhaling deeply, allow yourself to release, neutralizing, non-judgmental neutralizing, and allowing the physical body to feel calm and centered. You can allow yourself to go to your root chakra at the base of the spine. Go ahead and visualize opening that root chakra back into a balanced state. You're going to release all of the programs of the past traumas, past experiences, past hurt, past pain, everything that is in the area of survival, not feeling safe at home, not feeling safe in your body, not being able to accept who, what you are, where you are. Go ahead and release all of that from the first layer of your body. Notice areas that are stagnant and difficult to clear. And allow yourself to clear them out with violet light as you become aware of why it's there. Okay. Go into your second chakra now. Go ahead and open that second chakra back up. Clear the second layer of your body, all of the programs of the past, anything that you need to release in terms of relationships, sexual interactions, connections, relationships, intimacies. Anytime that you've had exchanges with anything, physical and non-physical, any trauma that occurred as a result of imbalanced exchanges in this lifetime and in all fractals of yourself. Go ahead and clear them from the second layer of your body. Clear it out. If it feels hard to clear or sticky, you can use your imagination. You can visualize that you're dissolving it, turning into water, into air, whatever you feel you need to do. Clear it out of the body completely. And I want you to create a vortex of violet light that comes into the sexual organs. Now, the sexual organs is connected to the central core meridian that connects to the throat, the center for communication, and also connects into the pineal gland and into the center of manifestation in the seventh and eighth chakra. So it's really important that we constantly maintain the energy in the sexual organs as neutral and as co-creative as possible. So I want you to visualize a vortex of violet light beginning to absorb from the sexual organs any kind of traumas, sexual trauma, pain, stagnation, fears, anxieties, shame, and guilt. Very important, shame and guilt out of the sexual organs. Allow yourself to speak to every cell in your body within this part of your organ system, the endocrine system and the lymphatic system that interconnects with this entire intelligence system. Visualize that it's clearing out all of the programs of shame, guilt, fear, anxiety, anger, sexual repression, stagnation, frustration, abuse, all of it out. Clear it out of the body. This is a really powerful cleansing. And what you're going to begin to feel is a lot of opening of space, a lot of space for joy, a lot of calm feeling. So allow yourself to release joyfully everything that you need to let go of the past. Okay. Go up into the solar plexus now as you allow yourself to open the solar plexus. You're going to clear all of the programs that you have in the body of anger, suppression of anger, a result, any anger that you're holding on to from the past, from the womb until now, any existential anger, feelings that we shouldn't be incarnating on this planet, we shouldn't belong. All of that blocks your ability to access higher vibrational frequencies and truth. So allow your body to begin to release all of the angers that you might have, feelings of helplessness, hopelessness that are rooted in the past as a result of traumas, experiences, things that have happened, life choices that have manifested into events that we feel that we cannot control. Go ahead and allow yourself to release that out of the third layer of the body. And a lot of you will find a lot of this information in the back of your body. So pay attention. If you're immediately drawn to the back of your body, this is the part that is holding a lot of this stagnant information. So clear that out. Breathing. Releasing sickness, releasing pain, frustration, suffering, programs of martyrdom, victimization, all of that goes out. Notice how you made even more space in your body for joy and love. Okay, go up now into your heart chakra. Okay, you're going to clear out of the fourth layer of the body all of the programs of unworthiness, not being able to receive love, give love, be loved, be lovable to things. Okay, belief systems that you are unworthy of any kind as a result of experiences from the past. Programs from the womb until now of unworthiness, of not being wanted, of rejection, of abandonment. Release them all out of the fourth layer of your body. If you feel stagnant points in the body that feel difficult to dissolve, use your crown chakra. Shine the crown chakra like a laser into your field to begin to dissolve these blockages, to remove these attachments, to eliminate all of the stagnation that is within the field. More importantly, your intention and your mind has the power over the matter. Send it down into the center of the earth, out through the bottom of your field. Go up into the throat chakra now. All of the programs of communication that you're unable to speak your truth, unable to ask for your needs to be met, clear communication, all a result of past experiences and trauma. Clear that out of the fifth layer of your body now. All of the programs that are imbalancing the feminine and masculine, traumas about the feminine, traumas about the masculine, whether you're a man or a woman, clear them out of the throat layer of your body, the fifth layer, the throat chakra. A lot of people hold anger towards their own sex. So take a look at that. Feminine, masculine, the roles that they play, the role that society imposes upon in culture, religion. So release all of those ties to the past generations of this cyclical trauma of suppression of both sexes in whatever way, as a result of control, fear, shame, concepts of sin, concepts of good and bad, all that is within dualistic compartmentalization and separation of that unity of the two, of the integration of the two into one. Release all of those programs out of the subconscious mind. Okay. You're going to go up into the third eye now. This is the intuition. Go ahead and release all of the traumas of not being able to trust your intuition, being told that what you see isn't real, or what you feel isn't true, what you intuit isn't right, that you cannot trust yourself, that you cannot be trusted, that others cannot be trusted. Clear that out of the sixth layer of your body. All of these programs that limit our expansion and our divine connection to our intuitive activation, clear that out. Limiting beliefs about using your gifts. Okay. You're going to go up into the seventh and eighth chakra of manifestation. Release the past programs of the programs that you can't create, that you don't deserve, that you're not able to manifest what you want, that you believe the matrix lies, that you're not able to co-create abundance, receive money, any shame around money, shame around receiving balanced exchanges with the universe, with allowing yourself to come into abundance. Let go of all of those limiting beliefs, the ideas that you cannot create life in any way, whether it's verbal, artistic, creation, your work that you're here to offer, your mission, your purpose. Clear all of those programs that you have received from past traumas that keep you in the past and not in the present co-creating. Clear them out of your field. Excellent. You're going to go up now to the seventh chakra and eighth chakra. Activate now the ninth. Activate the 10th. Activate the 11th. The 12th. The 13th. And above you is a powerful source. Go ahead and anchor that source down through your body, through all of the chakras that are activated, available to you. Activate as high as you can and bring that not from the ego, but from the intuitive body that is accessible to those levels. Bring that white light down like a pillar of white light down through the center core of the body, down through the perineum and into the center of the earth. and allow yourself to breathe as you pick up that pelvic floor, bringing up that life force, massaging the spine up into the pineal gland, holding in the pineal gland and down, putting the tongue to the palate of the mouth, allowing that life force to come down through the front of the body, closing the loop as you allow that transmutive life force to move through the body. Okay, once again, breathing, inhale deeply, pulling up the pelvic floor, absorbing that pure life force, that clean life force that you're now clearing and you're purifying up your spine, okay? Activating the dormant DNA into the pineal gland, putting the tongue to the tip of the mouth, the roof of the mouth, allowing that to fall down into the body as it activates that pineal gland. With the more that we transmute this life force, the more it collects in the mind, in the pineal gland for release. Okay. So once again, breathing deeply, activating the dormant state of your body, coming into an intense state of unconditional self-love, acceptance, affection, acknowledgement. Breathe in that love into your body. The universe loves you. The world loves you. I love you. This community loves you. You are wanted. You are needed. So as you open your eyes, bring yourself back into the room. Welcome back. You guys did amazing. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I want to wish you guys an incredible night. I'm going to just quickly jump into the chat to see if I have any final questions that anybody wants to ask. And I will see here. How to do shadow work. Everything that we're doing here, this is the shadow work. This is the shadow work. And of course, what I'm doing here with you doesn't really get to the deep, deep levels individually, specifically to your case, but you're getting there. You're getting there with this guidance. And if you do need more support, you're welcome to work with me privately one-on-one, and anyone else that helps address shadow, deep shadow emotional work. So essentially, you are neutralizing your traumas through integration of fractalization that occurred through traumas. And we want to revisit and integrate and learn from all of those experiences. If you haven't learned from them, if you haven't grown, healed from them, then you need to take a look at what's missing there. And that is the shadow work. Essentially, we are learning to become friends with the unknown. The unknown is everything we fear. So everything that you fear is what you want to address. And usually we fear things as a result of traumas, right? So that's why we talk about traumas. But anything that you fear is what we want to access head on and learn how to regulate the emotion system so that anytime that we are triggered by the fear again, we create a solid foundation in the body, both energetically, in the nervous system, and in the multidimensional field. Okay, that's essentially what it is. Thank you so much, Anders. Thank you so much, Stone Hobbit. So great to see you. Carolina, Rob Core, Samantha, James, Fidel. So great to see you. Much love. Justic, welcome. So great to see you, Vicky, Anders, Ultraviolet. That may be the chakra 8 and higher, just to guess. Ultraviolet is in the entire universe. It's in all things. It's what pulls us and brings us together as a whole. So it's definitely a frequency. Gorgeous Goddess, so incredibly gorgeous. Why do you do these shows so late? Is there something to the night with them? No, it's not about the night. It's about working. I have a very strong practice during the day with clients. So sometimes they go on late and I do sometimes interviews. So yeah, I'm so sorry that tonight went on really late, but definitely we're going to try to do it as early as possible. Okay, so do catch us and put the notifications on. Subscribe to the channel, please, and do share the videos if you find some value to help our family grow. All right, you guys, thank you so much. I am so grateful for you. Happy New Year, you guys. 2023, it's going to be amazing. I can't wait to connect with all of you and see how we grow in these next couple of years that are going to be changing everything in the world. Okay. All right. I love you so much. You're amazing. Love you. Bye bye. I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you. Thank you for your wishes. I love you.